call for a region-wide referendum on the Caribbean Court of Justice. And in sport, Lewis Hamilton wins the Bahrain Grand Prix. I'm Ricardo Roberts, and this is Caribbean in 10 for Monday, April 1, 2019. I'll be back with the details after the break.
Whether your mother's illness planted that seed about doing medicine?
No, because my mother became ill long after I graduated.
You had started, yeah.
If someone asked me why I had done medicine, I really can't tell you that there is some moment that made me do medicine.
I was good. Sometimes I had my days. I like to party, and I did like school. I got sidetracked once I got in high school.
I had spoke with the girls a few months ago about domestic violence, and I really didn't know at that time that many of them in that room were being abused.
Antigua and Barbuda's former Attorney General, Queen's Counsel Justin Simon, is calling on Caribbean countries that have not yet made the Caribbean Court of Justice, the CCJ, their final court to hold a simultaneously referendum on the matter. Simon said it was unfortunate that the electorate in the Twin Island nation, as well as Grenada and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, had voted against the move to replace London's Privy Council with the Trinidad-based CCJ as their final court of appeal. But he said he believes all Caribbean territories should seek to go together because it is a common purpose. The Dominican-born jurist contended that the CCJ comprises some of the most brilliant legal minds in the region, and it was disappointing that many countries were still not fully on board. The CCJ was established in 2001 as the region's final court, and while most CARICOM countries are signatories to its original jurisdiction, only Barbados, Belize, Dominica and Guyana have signed on to the appellate jurisdiction of the court. There are calls in Trinidad and Tobago for the government to expunge all minor marijuana offences. The All Mansions of Rastafari and the Movement for Social Justice are asking for this to be done, at least until marijuana decriminalization comes into effect in the Twin Island Republic. We get more in this report from TTT News.
One representative of the MSJ is calling for government to ease the strain on persons who are charged for small amounts of marijuana and are before the courts. Chair of the youth arm, Angela Hart, made a statement at a press conference today.
We are making a public call to the government to declare a moratorium on all arrests for small amounts of marijuana. We believe that this would clear the backlog in the judicial system. We also believe that this would save the state millions in tax dollars instead of enforcing a law which, by and large, targets a crime without a victim.
Hart said to date the government has not given a firm statement with respect to the decriminalization of marijuana.
How can the government spend millions in tax dollars for 2 months of public consultations, listening as marijuana advocates painstakingly describe the dangers of criminalization, only for the government to boast that we would be enforcing the very laws that we want to repeal?
Additionally, one representative of the All Mansions of Rastafari said there has been insufficient information given on the scope of the proposed legislation.
Being one of the main stakeholders representing the Rastafari body, we still do not know what is the scope of the government's decriminalization program. And at this point in time, up to now, we have not been called to discuss anything, so we don't know what's going on.
Legislation targeted at marijuana decriminalization should be introduced in Parliament by mid-2019. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley made a statement earlier this year. His comments followed Attorney General Faris Al-Wari, who said legislation on the decriminalization of marijuana will be laid in Parliament in the first half of 2019. Shirley.
Rescue teams are expected to resume their search today for Haitian survivors of an incident in which a twin-engine boat capsized off West Caicos yesterday. The Royal Turks and Caicos Police reported that 15 bodies had been recovered and 14 survivors had been rescued so far following the tragedy. Acting Turks and Caicos Police Commissioner Trevor Bottin says at this stage, it is unclear how many people were on board the vessel when the accident occurred. The authorities said at least 4 bodies were still unaccounted for in the shark-infested waters. The police said they had carried out rescue of survivors and recovered bodies and were later assisted by the United States Coast Guard. This is the second major accident at sea involving Haitians so far this year as they leave their country for a better life in the United States, the Bahamas, and the Turks and Caicos Islands. Back in February, at least 28 Haitians died when their boats capsized off the northern coast of the Bahamas. Stay with us. Your Midday Sport is next. World champion Lewis Hamilton capitalized on leader Charles Leclerc's engine trouble to storm to victory in the Bahrain Grand Prix yesterday and take his first checkered flag of the new Formula One season. With the Ferrari pole sitter dominating the event, Hamilton seemed poised to settle for the lesser podium spot yet again, as he did in the season-opening Australian Grand Prix earlier this month when the teammate Valtteri Bottas took victory. However, Leclerc suffered engine failure, which cost him power, and the second-placed Hamilton swept to the front with 9 laps left to claim the win. Leclerc squandered pole on the very first lap to fall behind Vettel and Bottas, with Hamilton, who started from third on the grid, slipping to fourth. Bottas, who started fourth, finished second, while Leclerc was forced to settle for a disappointing third spot. Bermuda's former triathlon world champion Flora Duffy has recovered from a foot injury and will defend her title against a strong field of elite athletes when the World Triathlon Series returns to its island for its second year next month. Nearly 500 elite and age group athletes are so far booked to race in Bermuda on April 27th, and the Bermuda Triathlon Association is confident the number will increase before the registration deadline of April 15th. Duffy stormed to a convincing win with a lead of almost 2 minutes in last year's event. The 31-year-old was an absentee in the season's WTS opener in Abu Dhabi earlier this month because she said she did not feel 100% ready to go. Duffy plans to bow out of the WTS racing after the 2021 Grand Final scheduled to be held in Bermuda. That's Caribbean in 10. Join us again at 6:30 for Caribbean Newsline. Good afternoon.